Let me introduce you to Ignite Rockstar Mary. We've all seen Mary's before and after pictures that I was blowing up the Facebook group with because they are crazy impressive. Um, Two things I love about Mary's story, and then I'm going to let her take it away. One, I'm going to go backwards. One is the fact that the results that you saw in those pictures, what's up, Keena and Connie? That's 88 pounds difference. And she did not step into a commercial gym once. So people whose block is, I don't have 2 hours a day to go to the gym. I don't want to have to join a gym on top of, paying for some program or whatever else. Everything Mary accomplished, she accomplished with nutrition and with at-home workouts. And yes, Kim says you are rocking the program. She absolutely is. The other thing I love with Mary is where I want to start the conversation. So Ignite has its own private Facebook group. For those of you who enrolled, you know that your first step was to request access. It hasn't opened to the new people yet. And in that group, Mary cracks us up, not only because every morning she posts a hilarious meme. I totally stole your meme this morning, by the way, Mary. It said, I may not look like a Victoria's Secret model, but I could sure as hell pick one up and squat one. But the other reason she cracks me up is where I want to start the conversation today. Mary talks very openly about the BS in this industry, about getting targeted Facebook ads for the next X, Y, and Z coach and meal plan and all the crap out there. So Mary, Mary, you should be sitting on the bench in your home gym. I think she actually is, right? You're in your gym. And Dory says, hey, Mary, this is your loser friend, Dory. So Mary, I would love to start right there. Tell us a little bit about, you talk pretty openly about just all the crap that you've been bombarded with and how annoying it is to get all these big promises that have never delivered. So what was that like, and what's been different for you when you found Ignite or MindStrong?
Okay, well, first off, hello, fabulous people. If you are watching this and you're not involved in the program, you're in a great place, because if you're watching this, you're definitely curious, and it all starts with simply that. So to try to answer Rachel's question fully, you have to have a little bit of a backstory. That starting picture you see, 2 years prior to that picture, I had tried keto. And I wasn't working out or anything like that. And I was tracking what I ate I actually used my carb manager because I got used to it. And it very much is something that's promoted by the keto diet. And actually, if you really research the keto diet, the marketed fitness weight loss keto diet really isn't the keto diet, but I'm not going to go into the scientific background of it because I'm a little bit of a nerd and I like to learn about everything. So anyway, so I ate high protein, whatever fat, almost no carbs. I lost like 70 pounds. And then the first 100 and some odd degree day, I almost died, like literally fell out. And I'm like, cake and donuts never did this to me. So I went back to eating garbage. And I mean, it was the complete absolute truth. If you know, carbs are what help regulate your, water balance in your body. So without carbs, that's why they tell you to stay hydrated on keto. And I mean, I was all in. I had all the supplements and everything like that. So then basically after that, that picture you saw, I looked at it. And I gained everything back plus some. And I think because of the keto diet, I lost some muscle mass along the way as well. So I knew I needed to change something. I needed to do something. And I started scouring the market. I've bought countless books. I never was one who pretty much liked cardio. So I decided to get into the weightlifting. When I started, I couldn't even do a push-up. And I did 8 years military, and I have a PT test in a folder that I did 60 some odd push-ups in like 2 minutes to turn into somebody who couldn't even do a push-up. So I honestly started out working out 2 days a week, and this is before I even did anything with my nutrition. and I did literally squats and push-ups on my knees, and that was it. That's all I could manage and muster. So I listened to all these programs and listened to this, buy this shake, get this, get that. I got involved with a program that was about mindful eating, which was great. But the problem is they shamed foods. So it wasn't just about mindful eating. It was about eating as clean as you possibly could. I also basically hit a roadblock by the time I found Rachel, because I knew there had to be something more to this. I was in weightlifting groups and things like that, and I heard them always talk about macros. I went into Macros Inc., I think, or something like that, where the calculator gives you some numbers and this and that, and they're like, use this. And I'm like, how can that even be right? Everybody's got to be a little unique. And I'm like, because I went to mindful eating and I ate the garbage that they fed me, I was honestly, when I started with Rachel, eating and like kind of starving myself and only eating like 1,450 calories a day. And when they say you can't overeat broccoli, yes, you can. Because let me tell you, I almost pooped the bed. So you can overeat broccoli. It can happen, but your body's going to respond horribly to it. So I strongly do not recommend it. My friend Allison doesn't like broccoli. I don't blame her. So anyway, with the mindful eating, it was great because it did help me because I really did have kind of a palate of a 6-year-old. So I had to use ways to get myself to learn to eat healthier foods and enjoy them. So it helped me change the type of foods I ate. But I was eating no bread, no pastas. If it was in a package, definitely not. They even talked me into like getting rid of mayonnaise. And let me tell you, I love mayonnaise. So yeah, it was really difficult. And they're like, don't eat this many fruits and vegetables, or don't eat no more than this many servings of fruits a day because too much sugar is bad. And then please buy these supplements and this particular brand that costs 3 times as much more than what you're already purchasing. And I'm like, I don't know. To me, it's a bunch of marketing BS. Everybody wants to go in the same direction, but everybody doesn't have the same boat, basically. So what I can afford and what the person next to me can afford and so forth is completely and utterly different, but we can all do something to achieve and work towards our goals. So to tell me I have to spend $120 a month on protein powder when I can buy a container for $60 that'll last me 3 months, you know, which I get that there's fillers and you got to be careful on what you purchase, but do the best you can with the means that you have, because at least then you're doing something. Yeah. So that's my, you know, and I do, especially since Ignite, I've had multiple, the old group with the mindful eating get a hold of me and try to get me back into their program. And I'm like, I have specific goals. And if I'm just mindfully eating, how am I supposed to know I'm eating enough to build muscle? Because they're like, just keep going, you'll build muscle. Well, if I'm in a calorie deficit, how am I going to build muscle? And if I'm not tracking, how am I going to know what I'm consuming? Yep. So, yeah, it's just a no-go. So if you want a guaranteed method and have control over your life, then MindStrong Fitness is the best bet for you. There's no extra marketing for extra garbage or crap or things that you don't need. Rachel doesn't push any extra equipment than what you do or don't have. It's, this is what you have and let's make do with it, and you can still make progress where you're at.
I'm going to cut that audio clip and use it in all my advertisements. Thank you for that. Yeah, I want to dwell on something you just said, because mindful eating or intuitive eating is such a buzzword right now. And they're fantastic. Like in an ideal nirvana type world, of course, we could listen to our bodies and eat when we're hungry and fuel it the way it was meant to be fueled. But the problem is, and we talk about this a lot in Ignite, so I'm not telling you anything you don't know, but when we're listening to our bodies right now, we are listening off of habit, right? If your body is craving a cheeseburger from McDonald's, it's not because you are low in iron and that's what you need to get that iron. It's because every Tuesday you've been going to McDonald's and getting a cheeseburger. So now habit is poking you on the shoulder saying, hey, let's do this. And we're going to dive into this a lot more on Friday when we talk to Meredith. When we can actually start listening to our body, when your body can start accurately telling you what it needs, is when we've done this work. For some people, macros are a stepping stone to intuitive eating because we know A, how to actually fuel our body correctly, and B, we get better at eyeballing. But to try to jump into that, I know there's I won't say the name of it, but there's a really popular app right now. And the whole basis of it is it tells you what foods are good and bad and what scale of good or bad they are. And first of all, that is not how you lose weight, right? If you know the math and science of weight loss, calories in, calories out, that's ridiculous. And two, talk about reinforcing good foods, bad foods, can't have clean eating, binging, that whole cycle. That is, in my opinion, one of the least healthy ways to go about this. So I don't love that you had a rough go getting started because I care about you as a person, but I think that those of us, because I had a similar backstory of just trying everything. When you find the thing that actually makes sense, when we talk math, when we talk science, when we talk common sense of eating pounds of bacon, but bananas are not allowed. Like when you find a program where it's like, wait a second, this isn't gimmicky, like this just makes sense. I think you appreciate it so much more when you've gone through the years of trying and feeling like you're getting beat down.
I perfectly agree. And, there is, another male influencer that I like. But honestly, the fact that I found a female, because honestly, genetically, we are different.
Yep.
Unfortunately, it is. And I just don't see how they can always fully answer the questions that would genetically more tailor towards, he wrote 2 different books for a reason, So he preaches a lot of the same things you do, Rachel, but it's not as big pharma, so to speak. You're not as big pharma, and I appreciate that. You're not saying and going into extreme. You keep everything simple. You're not breaking down rep counts and time under tension, and just push your body to do more than what you did before. It's just really Barney-fied. In the military, we used to say, break it down Barney style. I mean, you break it down as simple as it can be and just do it. So that's why I stuck with you.
That's awesome.
Ultimately.
And that's good to hear, because that's always, I always tell people my superpower is teaching. I can take what can feel like big, confusing topics and make it super clear. And to your point, while the laws of weight loss apply to everyone, there are obvious differences between men and women, right? Men can lose weight significantly faster than us, and we hate them for that, but it's a fact of life. And there's a limit, any male who can fully understand what our hormones are like at a certain time of month, like that, I will marry that man, and I have no interest in marrying a man. But there is a mindset difference that it's the reason that I keep this community to women only. Not many people know this, but I do coach male clients as well, but they are separate. They're not in the group, because there's a safety and there's a comfort of being in a women only group where we can talk about those things and be like, guys, I have my period and I'm freaking starving. And you don't want a guy chiming in during that, right? So
yep.
The principles apply, but this community is what it is because there is that safety and camaraderie between us. So tell us a little bit about, you've been at Ignite for 24 weeks now, right? You're about to go into level 3. So
Correct.
What has that been like? Because I know a huge block for a lot of people. Let me start here. Right now, we're going through Kickstart. There's a lot of people kind of on the fence about committing. And one of the biggest roadblocks, there's 3 roadblocks for people. One is money, which is a self-imposed roadblock for 98% of us. 2 is time. We think it's going to be this massive time commitment. The third one is a fear of commitment. And when I have conversations with people and ask them, what's stopping you from leaping right now? One of the top 3 responses I get is, I don't know that I'm going to stick to it. I don't know that I can be 100%. And I'm afraid to commit if I can't go all in. So can you tell us about your past 24 weeks? Has this been like blinders on, let's crush this? Or has it kind of been more fluid than that?
It's been a little bit of both. I'm very driven, and in the beginning, I was extremely driven, and then personal life things happened in the middle that kind of took my focus away a little bit here or there. Basically, what I would say is, I'm going to be honest, I haven't shared this with anybody. The first 12 weeks, or the first, round, which was what, 12, was it 12 weeks?
12 weeks, yeah.
I messed up for half of the 12 weeks. I inputted my food, and then I was robbing from Peter to pay Paul on the carbs and the fat, and I trusted the darn calculator on the app, and here I realized I was either overeating or undereating on days, and I still managed to get results. So perfection really didn't matter. The point was, is I was showing up. Personally, I work roughly 65 to 70 hours a week, and I still make time. It's about making time for yourself. And that's what I consider it. It really, at first, it takes a little bit to learn how to enter things into your app on your phone. But once you get going, it's really simple. You can save things and copy and paste it over. Meal prepping, as long as you have one day a week that you can put some meals together and pre-plan for the week ahead, that's my saving grace. Every Sunday, like clockwork, no matter what, like I have my dinners ready to go in the microwave after this. It's already pre-planned for me. I'm like, I don't have time to come home from work and cook, so it's all planned out. And that's definitely a saving grace. Money, well, like I said, it's back to investing in yourself. I definitely, just because I work so much doesn't mean I am a gold mine. I have a lot of financial responsibilities. I pay for a mortgage, a car payment, student loans. I replaced a furnace and central air unit, which anybody knows that's definitely an expensive chunk out of your pocket. So that's
I think that happened right around the time of Ignite enrollment too. I remember us talking about that.
$250 a month that I have to hawk up for that, plus I had prior, loans for home improvements that I had. So I'm pretty much maxed out, and I'm running on faith here. But it's completely worth it in the long run, because it's not just about the weight loss. There's a complete and total mindset change that comes along with it. And if you do not take the time for yourself, it doesn't matter how many programs you do. It doesn't matter how many times you drop 20 pounds. If you don't do the work and fix the root cause behind the food, you're just going to be back to where you started.
Oh, I got goosebumps in that last statement, because that is the missing piece, right? MindStrong Fitness. The name comes from one, the education piece, and two, what you just said. I could teach you every workout in the books. I could teach you how to track macros like a pro, but until we address this, it's never going to stick, because those, as you know, because we've done this work, we're going to talk more about that. But if those voices in our head are still telling us, this is not for you, you're destined to be X, Y, and Z, we're always going to self-sabotage back to homeostasis, because homeostasis is the most powerful force on earth. But when you do this work and you do it correctly, and you're addressing this along the way, that's when it clicks. That's when it becomes a lifestyle shift and not diet number 643 that we tried. So can you talk a little bit more about that? What's been the biggest, or some of the biggest, mindset shifts for you?
It wasn't, and I mean, the intuitive eating program had a whole mindset shift with it too. I mean, it had like these weekly homeworks and stuff that you did, but it's like none of it really clicked, because it was just like I was going through the motions, and I was still just in it to lose the weight, and just so focused on the workout itself and the food that I was consuming that I did the homework, but I really didn't drink the Kool-Aid. It wasn't until I heard some of the same things from you that I started drinking the Kool-Aid and started questioning myself on the whys and the things behind it. Now, in the group, which I don't mind sharing here, I'm actually basically a recovered alcoholic. And I had a lot of issues, and I quit drinking, which was great, but I replaced that drinking with food. So I really did not recover from the trauma and the things in my life that I used alcohol to fill. I've learned I don't like to be hungry. I start panicking if I get hungry. It's okay to be hungry every once in a while. I'm not going to starve. Trust me. You saw the picture on the left. That person was not going anywhere. I would have had to like not consume food probably for like an entire month and I'd still be standing. I also notice when I'm alone, so I don't like to be alone, which hence my other rule that we joked about on the 2-year thing, Rachel, because Mary can learn to live alone and it's okay to be alone. And I'm not going to eat my entire cabinet worth of food because I'm sitting here alone tonight. So the person before was just wanting to lose weight, just wanted to be healthy. I really didn't even consider the fact that I could potentially one day even have the muscle mass Rachel does, because actually I just turned 40. So I figured, oh, I'm starting to get too old. It's just over with for me. But it's never too late, right? Because look at me now, entering my first bulk and, on my way. And maybe by the time I'm 45, me and Rachel can take measurements and see. But the point is, I still have mental work that I need to do. I still have things that I have to work on. And now I'm not perfect, but at least when I start thinking things or doing things, for example, my drinking problem isn't like I need to drink all the time. My drinking problem was once I started, I didn't stop. Well, the same thing goes with food. I go buy a cake, I start eating the cake. If I want a candy bar and I'm like, I'm going to eat half a candy bar, I have to throw the other half away. Yeah. If not, eventually I'm going to eat the other candy bar, the other half. It's just inevitable. So when I go to the grocery store, if I tell myself I'm going to have a treat, I buy the treat or the amount of the treat, and that is it. And the rest either goes in the garbage, unfortunately, or I give it away, or I do something. I try sometimes to be like, no, you're not going to have it. But anybody knows your mind can play wonderful games on you that eventually even the strongest people are like going to cave. They're going to give in and they're going to go eat it, or they're, knowing you shouldn't eat it.
Yeah.
And not that. And I, honestly, when I have bad days like that, I don't feel guilty about it anymore. I'm just like, well, yesterday sucked. I ate an entire pumpkin roll. Tomorrow's going to be a new day. So
that's huge. Like we say that and laugh, but at the same time, like the progression of even your posts in the Ignite group to be able to be like, yeah, yesterday was not my best day. Like I went off the rocker. I did X, Y, and Z, and today's another day. Like that is what makes this sustainable. We all do that. The other day I ate more food than a human being should eat in one sitting just because Kickstart had ended and I wanted to relax for the weekend, and I drank a bunch of whiskey and cool. Like I felt like shit the next day. But we can also say, you know what? There's no beating myself up. There's no shame. Like that was a choice I made in the moment. And I don't have to wait for next week. I don't have to wait for next month. I just get right back on with my numbers and I'm golden. And I think anyone in Ignite would attest to the fact that we've watched just from your posts how much more accepting of that you've gotten. And that's a huge component in the results that we can physically see in you.
Absolutely. I mean, it's just not with the food. I mean, it's even with the workouts, Actually, when I found you, I was doing 4 to 5 HIIT workouts in the morning and then doing 3 compound lifts at night. I mean, I was just working out crazy.
That
and
sounds
just
exhausting.
it was on top of my work schedule. It was, I went to bed at like 8:30 every night, 100% committed. Now it's 9ish, it's more sustainable. You always talk about the bare minimum that you can do. My bare minimum is 4. Sometimes I squeak in the 5th. I push for the 5th. I try for the 5th. It doesn't always happen. Sometimes I'm just exhausted. I have other things. I wish all I had to do was work out and pay attention to the food I eat. I wish that was, it'd be great if that could be like my full-time job, but unfortunately it's not. I have other responsibilities and other things I have to do. So I'm human and there's only so much I can do. And as long as I get the bare minimum in, everything else is just extra.
That's awesome. And that level of acceptance is also major progress. Cause I know there's some people going through Kickstart who their posting was opposite from, so most people are like, I'm scared of the workouts. I've never worked out before. Is it all or nothing? But there are a handful of people who are like, I get so into it that I'm scared to miss a day, right? There's a fear of a rest day. There's a fear of what if I say I'm going to work out 5 days a week and I can't, then I beat myself up and the should start. And that's another area where, again, inside that group, we've just watched you grow of like, you are a machine with your workouts. And you also understand that some weeks it's just not going to happen. And it doesn't freaking matter. The only time it matters is when we play the I fell off game and I'll start again next month. That's when we shoot ourselves in the foot. But missing a workout now and then, who freaking cares? You just get right back to your routine the next day and you're golden. And you do that so
Exactly.
beautifully.
I think last week I woke up late and it was leg day, and I was doing leg day during the week instead of on the Saturday, and leg day takes me the longest, and I literally got through like 2.5 exercises and that was it. And I was like, well, at least I did something.
Yep.
So it was like, it's completely better than completely missing the day. I did something. I only had 30 minutes and it takes me about an hour on leg day. And
Yep. And that's it. You
what
wired in the habit that we're working out today and you went on with your day. And that is a billion times better than nothing for a billion reasons when we talk about the neuroscience behind it, in addition to the fact you got to work out in. All right. So here is my final question for you. This is going to be an interesting question. I'm curious to see. And by the way, if you have if you have questions for Mary, start dropping them because there's a delay between when you guys drop comments and when we see them. So my question for you is this: if you could go back and have a conversation with 24 weeks ago, Mary, okay, I remember us talking after you went through Kickstart, and I think that is when you had maybe it was your furnace, it was something in your house broke, and you were afraid to take the leap and invest because it's a big expense, and you had other big expenses. And I'm sure there was trepidation because of going through the mindful eating program and just bouncing from program to program. If you could go back and have a conversation with 24-week ago Mary, standing where you are now, what would you say to her?
Oh my.
I put you on the spot with that one. I did not tell her I didn't know that was going to be the final question. That's a tough one.
That is. Whew, that is a tough one, Rachel. Give me a second here.
Think it out. I'm going to check the Kim says baby steps. Yep. Allison's agreeing that she loves pumpkin rolls. Hey, Debbie.
Well, I guess the biggest thing that I would have to tell myself is don't worry about it, trust myself. And a big part of who I am is somebody who you always know what you want to do, and you talk about the whole fear concept. And I enjoy the program. You know, I enjoy the group, the community. I mean, do I 100% need it? No, Rachel's given me all the tools and all the things that I need to be successful. But I like the camaraderie, the group mentality, and all those things that go along with it. So I knew that about myself in the beginning, but I didn't realize after having the knowledge that I have now, how much I would still enjoy that. I figured, I was going to go through the first 12 weeks, get what I needed, and then I was going to be out. It was like going to be like peace, and that was it, you know. But I'm definitely 100% committed to the process, to the program, and to where I'm heading. And I guarantee you, in 6 months from now, the person that I am sitting here today, I may not even know who the person I was from the very beginning, because I don't even know who the person is in that beginning picture anymore.
Yeah.
Because I'm definitely not her. The person in that beginning picture is definitely somebody who did not like themselves very much. And I mean, it's sad, it's depressing, but it's the truth. I really did not like the person in the mirror very much. So I needed to learn a lot of things about self-love, self-care, and acceptance, and the unnecessity to be perfect all the time. And, I put so much pressure and stress on myself on things that really, in the end of the day, just didn't matter. So trust the process and just keep going.
You're getting so much love in the comments right now. Tracy says, you're so inspiring. Thank you. Dory says, Mary, you've been such an inspiration. Ignite. I absolutely love your spirit and hope we can meet in person one day. Debbie says, thank you for sharing. And Kina says, this is so awesome. Love this testimonial. And it's true. You know, hear it. Like I was getting goosebumps again, listening to you say that, because we come into this thinking we're going to learn to lose weight, right? We're like, here's a coach who's going to make it super clear how to learn a skill of nutrition. Awesome. We do that. That is the simple part. Doesn't mean that it's easy, but it's the simple part. Like, yes, I can logistically teach you to track macros. It's given, consider it done. I can logistically teach you the workouts. It's a given, consider it done. But what you're talking about is all the stuff under the surface, and it's the why behind this. We do not go on this journey because we're going to wear a t-shirt that says I weigh X, Y, and Z pounds. We go on this because we got to this place where that person that we don't like in the mirror, and we need to dig up why, what got us there, and then put those tools to use to transform. And you have just done an absolute bang up job of that. And it does, you see in the comments, you're inspiring so many people on your journey. And 6 months from now, you're gonna be able to kick my ass. Like, forget about it.
Well, I mean, honestly, it's not about the scale, the scale, the number on it. It doesn't really bother me anymore. I could care to perhaps if I gain 20 pounds in this bulk. I have a plan. I'm going until Shark Week in February. After Shark Week in February, then it goes right back into a cut. Nice. I stopped at 157. I plan to stop at 150 on this next one. And people are like, well, why didn't you just keep going? Well, I had been already like kicking my body for over a year, in some type of deficit or another. I really felt like my metabolism and my body could have used a break. That extra 7 pounds really wasn't worth it for how low calories I would have had to go to keep the scale moving. So it just really wasn't worth it. And hopefully this next round, I will get to whatever. And if I don't, I just don't, I'm not scared anymore. And I know I'm doing the right things, and everything's going to work out great.
And just hearing you talk about like that, the level of control you have over this, like you understand, listen, my body's been in deficit for a while. It's time to give it a break. Now I'm going to build muscle. So next time I lose, the number won't be as low on the scale because I have muscle on me. Like you have just such an understanding of what's going on under the surface. And that level of control is something that people who have never gone through this, like we can't even fathom having that much control over our nutrition, over how our body shapes up. And the fact that you could sit there and have, that was a 3-minute sentence, but it just shows, I always picture like the knobs. These are the knobs of our body, of our nutrition, and we can just go boop, 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 do whatever we want to do. And that's a testament to the work you've put in, the consistency that you've put into learning this skill.